All right, you guys, happy Friday. We are live, and I'm really excited to do episode number 3 of Racing Your Real Estate IQ. I've got my next guest, Nick Adamo from Farmers Insurance. So really excited to share a little bit about insurance with you guys. And I know you're like, insurance? Is it really that interesting? Yes, it is, especially if you ask Nick. But one of the most important things right now is to protect yourself, not only physically, but also financially. And so I thought it'd be really fun to get Nick on, and I'm so grateful he's here because with all this rain, you just saw him run and take a photo or a phone call for helping somebody right now. It's a busy time, but it's also a really applicable time to sit down, talk about insurance, and just help answer some questions. So Nick, if you're ready, let's jump in.
Thank you. Awesome. This is great. This is awesome. This is really a good way to stay in touch with everyone. And since we're home, we might as well educate people and be proactive. So this is great. I really appreciate it. So right now, what are the kind of the main things that are happening right now with insurance? And that is the rain. So if you know all this rain that's going down right now, one of the biggest misconceptions with insurance is that people don't understand that any water from the outside that comes in is not covered. So I'm getting calls for roof leaks, for slab leaks, water coming in from the bottom, coming in from the windows, and that's all maintenance. So be very careful when you want to file a water claim. Is it coming from the outside in? It's not going to be covered. So those are the biggest ones. People call me nonstop. I have a roof leak. You have to repair your roof. That's really what it is. So the rain is a big problem right now, and it's fun. So if you have any water problems, make sure you call before you file a claim, because that's very important.
And we're going to clarify what you mean later about call, but I just want to pitch that for later. But flood insurance is necessary, right? If some water from the outside, even if it's just it kind of rained a little bit and it came through your window, I don't know, if you close your window and it got in your house and it ruined your cabinets in your kitchen, or it rained and it came through your roof. So that's not covered by your traditional home insurance, but you'd have to have special flood insurance for things like that, right?
Yes. So what I recommend people is they live next to a wash, or if they live on a hill or a slope. If you're the last house on the bottom of the hill, all that rain's going to be coming down. If you live on a slope, on mud, that rain's going to be coming down. Open fields, they collect a lot of water and that comes in. And so if you're in any kind of area like that where you see puddling around your house, or if you see a lot of water around your house, you have to get a flood policy, and that will protect you with mold, all the damages, your personal property, everything that happens from that water will be covered. Now, if you don't have that problem, don't go run out and buy a flood policy, because in California where we're at, we don't have too much floods. But there's a lot of houses that are located in areas that need to have flood policy to cover them, because it could be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to repair.
Definitely. Okay, so you, like most of us, aren't going to have our lender requiring flood insurance, but it is an option if you're concerned about it. But what about earthquake insurance? I know we live in California, right? Is earthquake insurance automatically included in our home insurance? And obviously I'm asking fictitiously here because I know the answer, but I'm going to pitch it up for you to help answer.
Yeah, earthquake's another one of those misconceptions. It's a huge misconception, and California is doing everything they can right now to really push Californians to get earthquake insurance. They're not doing this to make money. They're doing this to prepare us. They're telling us, every single person who lives in California, get ready, because the next big one is happening, and we're not prepared for it. We're not ready, especially with this virus going on. This is FEMA money, okay? So if an earthquake happens in about a week or 2 or a month, guess where all that FEMA money is gone? To the coronavirus. That means they don't have any money left over to pay for earthquake. Okay, so it's a big problem right now. California is broke in the first place, and we're using all the money up for this disease. So earthquake insurance is really important. If you have a house in California, you should get earthquake insurance. Now, I wouldn't have said that a couple of years ago, because they really changed the product and they've made it a lot better. And they really made it user-friendly, and it really is what you need it for. It does give you a discount on your home insurance, so that's nice. But a couple things with earthquake insurance. First, anything caused by an earthquake is not covered by your home insurance. So if there's a fire that was caused by the earthquake and it burnt your house down, There'd be nothing, right? So stuff like that, you really have to be prepared. The biggest things is this is that when there's an earthquake, we live in Carlsbad, Oceanside. We live in a good area that the earthquake's not really that could affect us. But what does affect us is when it happens, it could send the line down. Your gas pipe might be ruptured. You might not go back to your house. So the government might say, hey, everyone has to stay away from this area until we get everything back up. And that happens all the time with fires. We have mandatory evacuations from the government saying you have to leave. Now, if you have to leave with an earthquake and you don't have earthquake insurance, then you have to pay for all that stuff. So one of the coolest things about earthquake insurance is the loss of use. So that means if it's a mandatory evacuation or you can't get back to your house for weeks at a time, you can go live somewhere and they'll pay for all your food and your gas and all that stuff so that you can go and maintain your life until you can get back into your house. Yeah. One of the main things is FEMA comes back and gives everybody money, but they start from the top. So they start with people like emergency vehicles, hospitals, roadways, and it trickles down. The next it goes into is people that have earthquake insurance. FEMA's going to reimburse and help pay for those deductibles and help those people first before they get to the people that don't have anything. And that's the main thing is like you want to be where in line. You want to be on the top of the line instead of the very bottom when it comes to help. So earthquake insurance is very reasonable, especially in areas that have high damage of earthquakes. So we're talking about $135 a year. And that easily can pay for itself if you have to go live in a hotel for 4 days, you know. So earthquakes
peace of mind is enough, right? Like peace of mind. I know when we ended up getting it on our condo, it wasn't necessarily so much for worrying about our condo falling down or anything. It was more for all the other things.
Yeah, it's all the things you don't think about.
Yeah, and it's like if our TV falls off the wall, okay, now that's covered. You know, who knows what to expect. And obviously this isn't intended to freak people out because obviously we're already freaked out enough right now, probably in general, but it's just to educate because I know most people probably didn't know if the rain comes into your house, it's not covered. It's like, okay, well, if you're concerned, now you know there's flood insurance for that. And then also there's earthquake insurance just to be prepared for whatever could happen. Because obviously a couple months ago, we never imagined we'd be here. So the same idea
Same idea. Earthquake can do the same thing to California. I mean, you think about it, we're the main place for earthquakes. And so if we have another big earthquake or a couple little ones across the state, it's going to be really, really tough. So for a very small amount, you also lower your home insurance down, and Farmers offers a discount on your auto insurance when you add the earthquake. So realistically, we're looking around $35 for the entire year to make sure that you have some kind of coverage. That's not really that much money to be able to really pay out thousands of dollars to you if anything does happen.
I love it. Cool. All right, next topic I want to ask you about, and we had talked about this a little bit in advance. What are some other insurance hacks to save money and protect yourself that most people don't know?
Well, a couple things you need to do is do a review every single 6 months on your auto insurance, because realistically, every 6 months you get a renewal and things can change. And so you want to know what's changing. And a lot of times what happens is that your mileage will go up. In the state of California, we rate on mileage, zip code, and I don't think gender anymore. We used to be gender, but we're not gender anymore. So it's mileage and where you live. Yeah, now there's male, female, and X. So we can't rate on gender anymore. So mileage and zip code are the two biggest rating factors in California. So your mileage, so all of a sudden you're only driving 5,000 miles a year, and then on your renewal, it goes up to 13,000 to 14,000. And they don't really tell you that. So that's the reason why you want to do a review. You want to look at what you're driving and how many miles you're driving a day, because that's what you're being rated on. So if you're not driving a lot, you make sure you get your mileage down so that you can save a lot of money.
What about right now?
What's that?
What about right now? Do you think we could get a little savings? Because my car
is what's happening. Yeah, that's the whole thing, which is cool. Allstate is sending out mileage reports to fill out so that you can lower your mileage. Obviously, you're not driving that much. Farmers just announced yesterday that we're giving 25% back on auto insurance for the month of April. So we're just lowering your bill 25% down because obviously people aren't driving that much. So like I said, those are the biggest rating factors. So if you're not driving a lot, lower your mileage down. Another really good one is you got to look at affinity discounts. A lot of insurance companies give you a discount for being military, for being part of a certain occupation, like a real estate agent, a nurse, firemen, policemen, engineer, all kinds of different affinity discounts are out there. And so you wanna look at that and see. A lot of times, I might have a degree in like computer science, and they never thought computer science would give them a discount on their insurance, but it will. So a lot of degrees out there, you might have forgotten you had it 20 years ago, and you had a degree in sociology. Well, that's the discount on your insurance. So a lot of those things you want to look back and say, hey, wait a minute, am I getting the right discounts for the occupation? Now, if you're a real estate agent for 2 weeks, you still get a discount. So
yeah, you were saying even if it was like 20 years ago,
yes,
if you were a real estate agent 20 years ago, you get it.
Yes. Before you did it for like 2 weeks, you're like, I'm not gonna be. You still get a discount now for the rest of your life because you're a real estate agent for 2 weeks. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the call center type insurance companies, they're not necessarily going to be smart enough to think about asking all these questions. It seems like they just kind of want to go towards getting it done. And so I like the idea, and we're going to talk about next what are some of the other benefits to having an insurance agent versus the call center. And I think this kind of like teased this question up a little bit more. It's like, okay, well, having somebody like fully on your side to help figure out how to maximize everything you can. Because what if you got a discount here or there, and then now you can add, earthquake insurance for free? It's like, that's kind of cool. Just because you remembered, like you were talking to my mom, I remember this. She was a real estate agent licensed years and years ago, and you were like, oh, you were? Okay, add that on. And it's not something I would ever think about as it relates to her, and I'm her daughter. So you have the idea to ask the right questions to help make, and it's all legit. It's not lying. It's just a matter of asking the right questions, kind of knowing the system in order to help save more money. So I love that.
So that's perfect. So the whole point of this is having an agent is really to figure out what you have, what you need, compared to someone that's a call center, 1-800 number, or are you just calling someone? They're not trying to help you out. They're just trying to sell insurance. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to sell insurance. There's a certain quota, there's certain numbers they have to achieve. They're not really adverse with all the coverages and everything like that. So they're really just trying to push it and say, see you later and get rid of you. Now, what we're trying to do when you have an agent, and that's the biggest thing, get an agent, talk to your agent, visit your agent, be your friends with your agent. He's the person that or he or she is the person that you're going to have a relationship with. So they know your lifestyle, they know who you are, and this way they can figure out all these different things to save you money on. The difference is when you go to like a call center, you go to a broker, they just lower your coverages down to save money. So they're giving you a great deal, but on the back end, they just took away a bunch of stuff that you're probably going to need in the future. And so you're thinking, okay, I got a great deal of insurance until I ever need to use it. So we all know we're going to have to use the insurance one day, so we want to make sure that it's there, but we don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it. So talking to an agent, you can say, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I need, and I want to get the cost as low as possible, but I want to be prepared for when something bad happens. And there's stuff like a deductible waiver, where you could pay a little bit more a month and not pay a deductible if anything happens, which is kind of nice. So stuff like that you wouldn't know or be aware of, you really got to talk to an agent to help you out, because they're trying to keep you and save you and be part of you. Like it's a family. We really want to know all our clients. We want to take care of them. We go to their houses. We're very involved with these things. You're just not a number. You're not just another person we call. And hey, when water starts coming in, you want someone to call and you want to get that information right away. So I wouldn't call a 1-800 number that's someone that is in another country that has no idea what's going on. I would want to call someone down the street.
Yeah, well, consider this, right? Most of us, prior to just listening to the first part of this video, would have thought, I have water coming into my house. I better call my insurance company and put a claim together. Well, guess what? Insurance company is going to say, you don't have flood insurance, like most of us most likely don't. And sorry, it's not covered. But now that we called, you were telling me that it's going to ding us. Like we see this on clue reports all the time, where in the purchase of a home, I'll help the buyer get a clue report, which is an insurance claim history for the last 5 years. And sometimes it will say something right there, and it'll say 0, no payout. But then now that makes us more curious. What happened? Why didn't they pay it out? Well, because they probably just called about something that wasn't covered. So one of the benefits I really thought was cool as like a layperson as it comes to insurance is that I can, instead of calling the company that's going to ding me, I call my kind of intermediary agent person, and I could say, hey, look, I got water flowing through into my house. I'd like to put a claim in. And you're like, well, guess what? Sorry, it's not covered. By the time, if you're working with a client, I'm sure they know that already, but let's just say they forgot. Oh, sorry, this isn't going to be covered, but let me send you a buddy of mine that can help you for a really good price. We're not even going to call the insurance, so it doesn't even get on your radar and continue, because you were telling me that there was a couple things that could happen just from simply calling.
Yes. So one of the biggest problems is that no matter what insurance company you call, if you call the claims department, if you call the company and say, hey, I have a question. I don't want to file a claim. I just have a question. The problem is, by law, we cannot tell you to file a claim or not to file a claim. And the only way to see if it's covered is to file a claim. So what do? You have water coming down. You call your insurance company, say, hey, I have water coming in. It's an emergency. I need someone to help me out. I don't know what to do. I know I have home insurance. Water is covered in their home insurance, but water is very fickle. It has to be a certain way, certain type, certain how. And all of a sudden you call in and they send the person down and looks at it and says, you know what, this isn't going to be covered by insurance. So now that stays on your record. Okay. Now, insurance companies can surcharge you. They can raise your rate with just calling in a claim and not having anything paid out. Even if you cancel the claim, say, you know what, I'll get a restoration company to come in, I'll call my plumber, or I'll get someone else. They're still going to charge you for that. So it's going to stay in your record for 5 years. Now, one of the problems is if in 5 years you have a bad water claim, let's say it's $10,000, it went from upstairs, downstairs. Now you have 2 water claims on your record. So in the state of California, if anyone has 2 water claims, it makes it almost near impossible to get insurance. So you kind of screw yourself by calling in a claim that maybe the toilet overran, maybe it was just a seal, it wasn't that big of a deal. A couple $100 later, no big deal. So the best way about doing this is to call an agent. So when people call me and say, Nick, I got water coming in here, me or my assistant, we'll go down to your house. We'll take pictures, we'll look at it, we'll figure it out. I have people that have been in the claims department through Farmers and State Farm for 11 years. They know every single thing that's going to be covered or not covered. I run it through them first, and they'll tell me straight up, Nick, it's not going to be covered. Perfect. Now we can have our talk on what we're going to do and how to fix it and how much it's going to cost. Or they say, slam dunk, file a claim, get it covered. The main reason is this: if you have faulty pipes, if you file a claim in your upstairs bathroom and insurance comes in there, fixes that, they know that those pipes run through your entire house. And if it broke over here, it's going to break over there. So they go, we're going to raise your rates. We're going to drop you. We don't want anything to do with you. We're going to get rid of you because the big ones come in and we don't want to be part of that. And that's the main reason. So you really want to make sure that if you're going to file a claim, you have an agent that's going to come to your house. You have an agent that's going to look at what's going on, and you have an agent that knows what he's doing, so you don't just file stupid claims to raise the rate and get dropped for no reason.
Yeah, and you were telling me too that sometimes people call you over small things, and you can help them at least process through their options where it is a legit claim, but if their deductible is $2,500 or something like that, and the cost to repair it is going to be $3,000, well, is it worth it? Or maybe even less than $3,000. Is it really worth it to do this? I want to make sure that you're getting the value. I'm sure you'll tell them this, but on the flip side, there could be much more detriment to filing a claim that's so close to the out-of-pocket cost you're going to be spending on your deductible. So
exactly, if it's going to be like $500-600 or something, just pay for it, get it done. If it's going to be $10,000, then that's when we want to file a claim and stuff. But you want to save those claims for when it's a catastrophic claim. A couple small ones, don't waste. You're going to be surcharged for 5 years, so you're going to make it up no matter what, and you have to pay your deductible. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. But you really need to have someone there to help you out and walk you through these things, because a little seal and it's upstairs from your toilet and it runs down the wall. minimum $15,000 worth of damage. I mean, when it goes down walls, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we have to look at things. And another thing, too, if you live in a condo, I had a client call me the other day. He wanted to file a claim because water is coming all down his wall. And I said, okay, well, let's find out where the water comes from first. We file a claim.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the neighbor upstairs. His hot water kept going and leaked all the way down and ruined his whole part of his condo. The person upstairs wasn't home. They were gone because of this virus. And so we went over to there and we found out that the brother stopped by to check on it. Well, he didn't really do a very good job. And so we talked to his brother and said, hey, listen, this is what's happening. We need your insurance. We need the person that lives here's insurance. And we got their insurance and we filed a claim under their insurance. Yeah. So now that my client doesn't have anything on his record, he doesn't have water loss, no damage, nothing. Farmers doesn't say, hey, this guy's a big high risk. Because realistically, the same water heater and pipes are all through that same condo. So now it's all on the other person's insurance, so you don't get dinged at all. But if he would have just called Farmers and set up a claim, well, he would have been dinged for it. So that's what I'm saying. If you would have called, I'll go to the person's house, I'll find their insurance, and we'll file it under theirs so you don't have to.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I want to ask one last question as we wrap up. What is your favorite insurance that most people don't know anything about?
I've just started writing a lot of this, and I think it's really cool because it's for classic cars. It's called Haggerty, and there's a couple other companies out there, but I've been writing classic cars and specialty vehicles through them for the last couple of years now, and it's really fun because you get to go see these cars, you get to check them out. But what people don't understand is like classic car realistically needs to be like 10 years old. If you have an older car, we can insure it, and it's twice as better coverage than you have in your personal auto. The coverage on it is unbelievable. They use kid gloves on this. They use the best insurance you can because they know this is like a classic car that's like your baby. So they have better insurance than any other company offers, and it's extremely inexpensive. You can have an old car that's worth $100,000, and you'll be paying $280 a year for that for insane coverage. So if you have classic vehicles, classic cars, any kind of cool things out there, we can get them insured really cheap. And so I like working with those because I like to check out the cars and it's fun.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Nick. This is great to hear all about, how to be aware of certain insurance like flood insurance, earthquake insurance, how to save some money and protect yourself, how to understand the benefits of an insurance agent versus a call center. And even if you don't have an insurance agent in your current insurance plan, obviously you can consider talking to Nick. Go ahead and post a comment below if you want to get connected. But at least you learned a little bit more about how to be cautious before just calling in. Because that's how I was trained. I luckily haven't had to do too many claims, but you have an issue, call your person, call the company. And so now they, hopefully that's helped to, kind of understand a little better how the process should go to, protect yourself the most. And then also it's really fun learning a little bit more about the classic car discount. Cause there's a bunch of people who have cars sitting around and I bet it's kind of like, they assume that it's going to be valued at the true value, but actually you're saying the Kelley Blue Book for a 1960 car might not be very much at all.
You might get $3,000 and you might have put $30,000 into it. And you're like, wait, what? And so those are the ones that you really want to be like, okay, I need to get the right insurance for this.
Definitely.
But one of the biggest things too that we're coming around, and one of the things that's so important, especially with buying a new house, is mold. Mold is devastating, all right? And so when you're buying a new house, one of the things you get in there, you find mold. Is it throughout the whole house? Is it deadly? How long has it been there? Is it covered by insurance? Mold is a really tough thing to deal with. And so on your home insurance, you want to make sure that you have some mold coverage because that is not covered in home insurance. You have to add that as another one. But one of the best ways to prepare yourself for mold is to call Karen.
Hey,
she smells that mold out like there's nothing else, right? But no, that's the thing. If you want a good insurance agent, you really need a good real estate agent. I can't tell you how many times people say they're going to buy a house and they get a real estate agent, and I talk to the real estate agent and I'm like, well, did we check for this? Did you do this? Did we do this? And they're just like, yeah, no, I don't really care. I'm just selling the house, you know? And so when it comes down to it, Kara's going to save you so much money, so much time, so much effort. Like, I wouldn't use anyone else to buy a house besides Kara, because it would, like, they're going to get you in a house, and the next day you're going to call me up and say, Nick, there's a ton of mold in here. And I said, you should have called Kara first. So help me out. Use Kara, because she's the one that's going to get you in the right house, the least amount of problems, and take care of you. And then I don't have to file a claim for you guys. So the best thing to help out with insurance, call Kara.
That's funny. Yes, I know not everybody knows this, and I don't love this term, but our home inspector that we use often, clients choose to use, has called me the mold queen, because I've gotten really good at finding mold.
It's awesome, though. It's good. It's like a superpower you have, you know?
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Nick, for everything. And for everyone watching, just thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit about something new that you wouldn't have, known before. And if you have any questions, if you'd love to talk with Nick or with me as it relates to buying a home in this area, we'd be happy to help. So just post below or message us, and we'd be happy to be a resource. So have a great rest of your Friday. Stay dry, stay safe, and see you guys later.
See you later. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.